The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us today with our Green Cleaning Awards for schools and universities. We're excited that you joined us. My name is Mark Bishop. I'm Vice President of Policy with the Healthy Schools Campaign, and we're excited to have you guys here. So today's webinar is we're talking about the application and getting into the process for the American School and University Green Cleaning Award. It's part of our series, our summer series of webinars. As you can see, this is the third of 5. So keep your eyes open for August, September, when we'll be talking about new technologies in green cleaning. And in September, then we'll be talking about green cleaning and infection control. So jump onto our website, healthyschoolscampaign.org events, and you will find more information about registering for all of our webinars. Just so you know, join us, be part of the conversation. If you want to follow us on Twitter, follow us at Healthy Schools Campaign and use the tag GreenClean2014. Share your thoughts. We are always open for questions. So we're always open for questions, and we are always open for conversation. So please join us there today or in the future. Now, as of today, our webinar is going to be about 1 hour. Just so you all know, we always get the question of, will this be available? It will be. By the end of the week, it will be posted on our website, so you'll be able to view it, share it with your friends, as well as download the slides. Also, when you leave, there will be a very short survey. I believe it might be 1 or 2 questions maximum. Takes no time, but we actually do look at those answers. So please do us a favor, fill it out, and give us your thoughts. It helps us prepare for the future webinars and thinking through what content we want to provide. So a little heads up and a thank you in advance. Also, after our presentations, we will have a Q&A session. It's going to be in the final 15 minutes. And if it goes long, we could extend it a little bit. Now, we will take questions through chat. So there's a question box on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Just click that, submit your questions, and then we will go through them and have them answered after all the presentations. But ask your questions during the presentation so you don't forget. So just get them in there. They'll get queued up, and we'll be able to get to them at a later point. All right, so our today's speakers. First, me, Mark Bishop, a Healthy Schools Campaign, but also our 2 partners, Joe Agron from American School and University, and Steve Ashkin from Green Cleaning Network, amongst other things. Together, Healthy Schools Campaign, American School and University, and Green Cleaning Network, we run the Green Cleaning Award for schools and universities. It's a great partnership, great partners, great people working, hopefully, all doing great work together. So thank you for all being here. Now, just a little bit of a background, because we have been seeing, so first of all, a little bit about who we are. For those of you who don't know us, Healthy Schools Campaign, we are a not-for-profit organization. We are based in Chicago, but we are nationally minded, and we work on that intersection of health, environment in the school, and we work a lot on policy. We work a lot on programs, and around green cleaning, we work on changing how America's schools clean, and we want to make sure that the way we clean them are the ways that we are protecting our children, because we want to focus on health and ultimately making sure we have more successful students. So, a little background, as I'd like to say that over the past 10 years since we've been working on green cleaning, we've seen a lot of change. This is our 7th Green Cleaning Award, and it's unbelievable to see the change in the programs, but in addition to the change in the whole environment and how we're cleaning our schools. From the launch of LEED E-Bomb in 2002 to the publishing of our first Quick and Easy Guide, the changes in the regulatory environment, the changes in the way that different federal and state bodies are supporting, requiring, or promoting green cleaning. It is a completely new market that we're working in right now. And it's one that we want to keep track of, and one that we want to make sure that we're helping continue to promote. And one of the things that's been really important to us here at Healthy Schools Campaign has been our awards program, because that has helped us keep tabs of what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on in schools across the country, and from the input from people like yourselves, we're able to understand what those leading edge schools are doing and how you're really pushing the envelope around doing better, healthier, and more sustainable cleaning programs. Okay, a little bit. Before we introduce our next speaker, I would just love to know a little bit about who you are. So if you can take a moment and let us know. Do you work in a school? Are you working in the cleaning industry? Are you a parent? Are you an advocate? Or are you someone else? In the meantime, so take a moment there. In the meantime, I'd just like to let you know our next speaker is Joe Agron. Joe is the editor-in-chief and associate publisher at American School and University magazine. He's been a great partner, a great resource, and working with him since the beginning of our awards program has been a great partnership. So we will introduce Joe in one moment. In the meantime, let's see who is attending today. It looks like in schools and in the cleaning industry. So what's going to be great about that is the cleaning industry folks, our schools are going to be are able to work together hand in hand to apply for the American School and University and receive recognition. So it's a great mix of individuals to have. So thank you so much. Joe, I'm going to give the virtual gavel to you, and it's all yours.
Thanks, Mark. I'd also like to thank our listeners for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this event and for your interest in the Green Cleaning Award for schools and universities. Just a little background on American School and University. Many of you that are at the school level already received the magazine. ASNU has been serving the nation's school and university administrators and facilities professionals for over 85 years. And the Green Cleaning Award was created in conjunction with the Healthy Schools Campaign and the Green Cleaning Network to recognize and honor those educational institutions and their partners that are creating healthy, sustainable approaches to cleaning to protect health without harming the environment. And all the recipients of the award are profiled in a special section of the December issue of American School and University. Next slide, please. Now, in the special section, awards are presented to both K-12 and higher education institutions. It could be individual schools. It could be school districts. There is a wide swath that we cover, but all levels of education are covered and awarded in the Green Cleaning Award program. And you can turn to the next slide, please. Actually, probably one more. Great. Last year's award winner, of course, you can find all the award winners from not only last year, but also since the award's inception at www.asumag.com/Green Cleaning Award. And you'll probably find some of you that have already entered and that may be entering an improved program will find yourselves there. And hopefully all of you new listeners that are looking at applying for the award will see yourselves there in the future. You can turn to the next slide, please. Now, there are a number of reasons that you should be applying for the Green Cleaning Award program that Steve Ashkin, who we'll be talking shortly, will get into. But it is a great way to get that recognition that you have worked so hard for from school board or your board of trustees, from the school client if you are a distributor or a company that is working with an education institution on their green cleaning program, fellow administrators, students, and teachers. It's just a great way for you to publicize what you're doing and to really show the benefits of all of your hard work and to have everyone buy into it so that future initiatives that you plan on doing will get that buy-in because they can see what you can do with this green cleaning program. Next slide, please. Now, each year we have a really distinguished panel of judges as well as of experts and actual practicing K-12 and higher education administrators judging the program. And you'll see some of the past judges that have participated in judging the programs that are contributed to the Green Cleaning Award program. Next. That's my cue, and I'll turn it back over to you guys.
Great. Thank you, Joe, so much. Our next speaker is going to be Steve Ashkin with Ashkin Group and the Green Cleaning Network. Before we do, let's take a quick poll, because one of those bullet points that Joe mentioned on why should you be applying was do a checkup for your program. And we think it's really valuable to kind of go through the application, see where your program is, and kind of use it as kind of judge yourself and check yourself against where you are last year. And we're seeing that actually a number of schools are doing that. So quick question for you guys. Have you applied? If so, how many times have you applied? I'll be really curious to see if we have multiple applications here. So with that, Steve Ashkin is the Executive Director of the Green Cleaning Network. Steve he's also the primary author of our Quick and Easy Guide to Green Cleaning in Schools, and truly one of the, can I say, grandfathers of green cleaning, because he's been a leader in the industry for many, many years, and we really appreciate his support. And we'd like to say thank you and welcome, Steve. It is, we'll look at the answers, and then we'll say it's all yours. So the results. Looks like we are a lot of first-timers. Okay, excellent. So we're definitely excited to have that. So Steve, the floor is now yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. It really is my pleasure to be able to spend time with you today. And I also want to thank all of you who are on the phone. We have about an hour altogether to talk about these issues, and we know your time's valuable, so we really want to provide you with some great information. But before I do that, I want to take a second just to personally thank you, Joe, and American School and University Magazine for supporting this effort that we're undertaking. You guys absolutely rock. I really appreciate it. For those of you who are not familiar with the publication, I really want to encourage you to do so, to get to know it. I think it's the best publication in the segment. And also, you know, people on the call today, they basically came from a couple of different areas. One who are already familiar with the Healthy Schools campaign, and then the others who came from the cleaning industry that are familiar with the work that we've been doing to clean to green the entire cleaning industry. And so for those of you from the cleaning industry who are not familiar with American School and University, and who may not be as familiar with the Healthy Schools campaign, I really want to encourage you to check them out. These guys are just enormously effective. Cleaning and helping to create healthy indoor environments is just one of the program areas that they work on. You do other cool stuff on food and nutrition and wellness and physical activities, and they're just absolutely outstanding, and I would highly encourage you to sort of check them out. Really, really, really an effective organization. So with that, would you go to the next slide? So what I want to spend a few minutes talking about is, you know, really why we're really trying to do this, and more importantly, how to do it. I think everyone understands how important it is to create healthy environments. We all really get that. But what we want to do with the Green Cleaning Awards, beyond just recognizing the superstars, is to do really two things. One, very practically, is to address the issue of benchmarking. You know, everyone is working so hard. Sometimes we sort of lose context of what we're doing, especially as it compares not only to others, but sometimes more importantly to what we ourselves are doing. Because I think oftentimes we have this issue called backsliding, where we start a great program, but over time it sort of starts dissipating, or we sort of get off track a little bit. And this Green Cleaning Awards program actually can allow you once a year to systematically look at what you're doing, to just really see if you're making the progress that you intend to be making. The other thing that I really want to point out is my presentation really is to say, look, I know you're busy, but we want to help you create healthier facilities, recognizing the real challenges that schools have. You know, I go into schools and sometimes they're not as clean as I would like for them to be. But the problem typically isn't that the custodians don't know how to clean. nor is the problem that they don't have the right products or tools. Usually there's some other things that create barriers, often just a lack of resources to be able to get things done. So also what I want to do is to take a few minutes throughout the presentation to sort of say, this is easy. And I'm going to tell you school folks that are on the phone today that your cleaning product suppliers and service providers can help you do this. It's an untapped resource for many schools, for many districts, for many universities, and you can really lean on them to really help you identify opportunities for improvement, to be able to do the program we're talking about, and to really make a difference. So one last thing I do want to make sure we're pointing out, because I know you've all been staring at the slide ahead of you, or that's on the screen right now. And so you sort of get the sense of where we're coming from when we talk about green cleaning. But I do want to just make sure everyone puts it in context where we really do understand that children really aren't just miniature adults. You know, they are more vulnerable to environmental exposures than mature adults are. And I'm sure you've all heard, you know, the explanation that pound for pound, children eat more, drink more, breathe in more than an adult does. Pound for pound, they are exposed to a lot more of what's in the environment, some of which can be unhealthy. And their activities are different than adults. They crawl around on the ground. They put their fingers in their mouth. They share things. Their activities, their developmental stage really does put them at risk, which really wants to encourage us to create healthier spaces for them. And in addition to the children, we're also very concerned about our school custodians and those that work in our university settings. You know, cleaning a school or university is not like cleaning a house. You know, unfortunately, let's be honest, most people, if they spend 15 minutes a day cleaning in their home, you know, they're rock stars. Custodians are cleaning 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. The exposure to potentially harmful materials is significantly greater than the average person who just cleans in their home. So not only do we want to protect the health of our kids, we also want to protect the health of our workers and everyone else in our schools. And finally, because schools and the cleaning industry use so many products, cleaning chemicals, sanitary paper products, hand towels, toilet tissue, plastic trash can liners, vacuum cleaners and other equipment, plastic bags, mops, buckets, on and on and on. Each one of these materials has huge environmental impact, both from how they're made, how they're used, and ultimately how they're disposed. So what we're really trying to do is to really put together a program that meets the needs of schools, understands their costs and other barriers, and does it in a way that protects health and the environment. Would you advance the slide, please? So here's what I want to cover is really sort of how to do the application itself. You can go to the website. Application is due on the 6th of September, so you've got to get rocking and rolling on it. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to be able to do it. The submissions can be emailed or mailed, and just make sure you're putting the right information so we can get it to the right place. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we wanted to do for this particular program, and this is really key, not only for the schools, but all of you from the cleaning industry who are listening in. The application not only can be done by a school or a university or a district. Those of you in the cleaning industry, whether you're a product distributor or you're a service provider, you too can work with your schools and put in the application and be recognized for it. We want to not only show schools and universities who are really rocking and doing great stuff, but we also want to identify and recognize those team members from the cleaning industry who are also helping to get this done. So again, the schools can do it themselves, and those of you in the industry, you know what products they're using, you know what training programs they have, you can put the information together and also help your schools get recognized as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so the application itself has 3 basic parts to it. And I'm going to get into each one of these in just a little bit more detail. But the 3 basic parts are just some fundamental information about your school, about your university. We want to know the size, number of buildings, the age, number of kids, etc. Pretty simple. We want to know who you are. That way, we're comparing small rural schools with other small rural schools compared to large universities. You know, we're going to separate them out so that you're competing in some respects with similar organizations, similar schools, similar universities. We're then going to ask you to tell us a little bit about your program. And in the program, we're going to get into a little bit of details about your program. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask you about how you got started. We want a little bit of history about your program. And just so you know, this is just going to require you to write a paragraph or a couple paragraphs, no more than 300 words. So that's about a half a typewritten page if it's single-spaced. Half a typewritten page. How you got started, when you got started, just so we can get a sense if this is a brand new program, because we actually have awards for new programs, versus a program that's mature. The second part about the program we're going to ask you is actually get into some details about the program itself. We're going to ask you, and just to put it in context, this part is less than 700 words. Less than 700 words. So it's a full-page magazine article. 700 words, that's all. And in that, we give some recommendations about what to follow. So we're going to ask you, or we suggest you write something about your procedures and cleaning strategies, to write something about your training, to write a paragraph about innovation, what you did that's really unusual, really interesting, really groundbreaking. For you product manufacturers that are on the phone, this is a chance for you to really shine, to show what cool things your company has done relative to green cleaning. We're going to ask you to write, if you would like, a paragraph on sustainability-related issues. So it's not just about the product, but other things that you're looking at, whether it's dealing with your people, whether it's dealing with the companies, the supply chain, transportation-related issues, any of these other things that may tie into your green cleaning program and why your school or university should be recognized. And then the last part about the program is to write a little bit about how you evaluate what you're doing. The International Sanitary Supply Association came out with a new clean standard for using test methods to actually measure soil levels on a surface. Or you're using QC software, or you're doing visual inspections with your cleaning service provider or distributor. But again, another paragraph on that. So let's see, so I just mentioned 5 paragraphs: procedures and strategies, training, innovation, sustainability, evaluation methods. So if you write 100 words on each one of those, you're done. Easy, no problem. The third part of this is about the program. We ask for 500 words or less, again, less than a page, is on how you engaged others and share the responsibility. Because we know that schools need a lot of help. Schools need the support of the community to be able to get the funding, the resources, the support you need to really create healthy environments for our kids, our teachers, our staff, and visitors, and others. So we want to really recognize and learn from those of you who are doing great jobs, sharing what you're doing, and engaging others. And again, we give some examples such as, if you have any policies or processes related to engagement strategies. We're interested if you have some examples of communications. Maybe you have a newsletter. Maybe you're putting up signage. Maybe you're doing some event, an Earth Day event, and you promoted it and what have you. To give some examples about that. How you engage the community. If some kids went and they spoke at a community event or a school board event, or what the university is doing relative to community engagement and the different clubs and environmental groups on campus and how they tied in the cleaning programs with that. We also can talk a little bit about the recognition you've received, whether it's stars, whether it's Tools for Schools. There's all kinds of programs out there. You have an opportunity to really shine a light and be recognized for those. And the final part is if you have any tools that you're willing to share with us. So again, the 3 parts of the application is just 300 words or less on getting started, 700 words or less on the program itself, and then 500 words or less on engagement and engagement strategies and sharing the responsibility. And before I go to the next slide, I just want to encourage all of the schools and universities on the phone to please talk to your vendors and ask them to help you do this. They know your programs well. They're happy to help. This, in some respects, is a way for them to demonstrate what a great supplier they are, and they're proud of the accomplishments they've had. So they're happy to help. And when we have so many demands on our time, these folks are happy to step up to the plate, and they can deliver for you. And this is why we're happy to recognize them as part of your team. So please take the chance to ask your suppliers. And for you suppliers that are on the phone, please take this opportunity to your schools and universities and encourage them to do it. Not only can it help you, let me be direct, to help you drive sales by demonstrating opportunities to help them further green their programs, but it also helps all of us understand the real opportunities that are out there. So, okay, next slide, please. So a few more things. One is the awards criteria. It is going to be based on the Quick and Easy Guide to Green Cleaning in Schools. We lay out standards we recommend for cleaning products and equipment and supplies. We talk about paper and plastic products. So if you're not familiar with the standards, in many respects, think of this as a place where you can find sort of the minimum requirements. And I specifically frame it like that because, please, if you want to do more or you are doing more, this is a great place to showcase that. Obviously, the criteria will look at the procedures and the shared responsibility, so the areas that we talked about just a minute ago. Next slide, please. In the Quick and Easy Guide, here are the steps that you'll find. So you can get this from the Healthy Schools campaign. And it's a great document. I think, frankly, it's online, and if we put it in a book, it'd probably be 300 or 400 or 500 pages by now. So lots of good information to help schools and universities be able to do this kind of stuff. And finally, next slide. And finally, one of the sort of the keys I want to share with all of you is, Mark or Joe, forgive me, one of you guys mentioned that this is the 7th year we're now doing this. In the early years, gosh, we were just happy that people were using green chemicals and, toilet paper with recycled content. But over the years, the cleaning industry has really done just amazing things, and schools and universities have found that it's very cost effective, and these green products are readily available and price competitive and meet your performance requirements. So that's why you see the first 2 bullets. You should be doing that. And if your school or your university aren't doing these things, please let us know. Let the Healthy Schools campaign know, or let me know, and we're happy to help you talk to your suppliers, talk to your purchasing people to get this stuff done. 2014, doesn't matter where you are in North America, you should be able to get that stuff done easily and cost effectively. But then the other 4 areas are where we're really sort of the differentiators. So that your training programs, how you're really making sure your custodians are really doing the right thing, how you're engaging them, how we're helping them become more efficient, how you're going beyond just the cleaning the bathroom, but looking at energy and water reductions, et cetera, et cetera. All the cool training stuff that you can really talk about. Communications is a big one, especially if you have good examples. And if you don't have good examples, send what you have. It is okay. How we're going to reduce exposures to children and staff. And finally, the last one is evaluation and measurement, which is really an emerging area that we're starting to take more serious and want to find more information about to share with others. Next slide, please. And finally, American School and University. I publish a column in it. This particular one, and perhaps Mark or the folks from the Healthy Schools campaign will send out this link. But really all this article talks about is why it's really good to use this awards program as a benchmark, whether you've won it before, whether you're new. This is a way to make sure that you're on course, you're running efficiently, and as successfully and productively as possible. So with that, Mark, allow me to turn this back over to you. Thank you all for listening in, and we look forward to seeing your application.
All right, great. Thanks. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. All right, so now as I start wrapping up, before we go to our Q&A, so I'll start by just asking everybody, if you have any questions, if there's anything that emerged, type it into the box, ask your question. We'll get to those very shortly. I was going to speak a little bit about the trends, because with 7 years going on the American School and University Awards, Green Cleaning Awards program, we've seen tremendous change from the first year until now. And I will say, as Steve just alluded to, the first year winners would not be the winners that are going to be winning in this year's application, because things have changed in the industry, and the schools that are really leading the way are doing just innovative work. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of the areas that we are seeing trends in, and then you can think to yourself about where you see yourself in your own program in the schools or the school that you work in. But the 6 areas that we see are in training and investing in people, chemical selection and going beyond just the certified chemicals, looking at the process and creating standardization within process, communications and really becoming involved in one's schools and having green cleaning becoming integrated into the school community. Evaluation, this is becoming more and more important throughout the education system, but also in our greening programs and sustainability. So I'll briefly mention these 6 points, and then before we get to the Q&A. So first of all, training and people, investing in people. One of the things that in green cleaning we're learning is that it's changed. Green cleaning is no longer the same the cleaning program that your grandparents, your fathers did, that was pushing a broom. It's much more complicated. We're relying a lot more on technology, relying a lot more on techniques and strategies to attack problems within and address issues within our facilities. And because of that, we're realizing that we actually have to spend more time doing training and creating a more professional workforce to be successful. And so in the top programs, we're seeing training increasing and more training being offered. We're seeing that K-12 applicants in the awards program are providing 3 to 4 day trainings and ongoing support for their staff on average. And we're looking at universities that are much more, 5+. As an example, our Temple University created the entire school of custodial services. Temple was a past winner. and seeing the levels of investment and the levels of recognition of the need for professionalization of the workforce really shows the value that we all have to be placing onto our cleaning programs in order to be successful. Whether we're covering topics of microfiber, personal protective equipment, chemical use, training for infection control, whatever it may be, we're seeing that really bringing our workforce up is really important in long-term success of our programs. Second, what we see is chemical selection and looking beyond certified. Just pull this slide out for a little bit of by the numbers. Traditionally, what we've said about green cleaning programs is look for certified products. Look for chemicals that are Green Seal, Eco Logo, US EPA is designed for the environment. And while that recommendation stands, what we're seeing is a lot of schools are going beyond just thinking about the certification. Many programs are eliminating whole classes of chemicals, and strippers is a very good example, where a lot of schools are just saying we don't need chemical strippers. We can move towards technologies that allow us to not strip, reduce stripping, or move towards physical stripping of our floors. And we can reduce or eliminate all exposures associated with this class of chemicals. We're seeing disinfectants has always been a big challenge because we don't have those green certification bodies that for disinfectants and sanitizers. So the successful programs are really taking a much closer look and looking at safety data sheets and saying, let's make sure at the minimum we're looking at these health ratings that on our safety sheets, and try to make sure that we're not having anything that has a health rating of larger than 1. And we're seeing that's pretty common, and being very deliberate about these decisions. We're seeing the number of chemicals that schools are using is dropping. We're seeing where they're using fewer, using more multi-use, more chemicals that are concentrated so they can be used for multi-purposes. And then finally, we're seeing a lot more use of water-based cleaning technologies. And the marketplace for these type of technologies is exploding. There are many options out there in the marketplace. Many of them appear to be very good products, and we're seeing that a lot of schools are starting to take advantage and using these as part of the strategies to improve health, environment, and reduce some of their exposures. Dealing with process, we're seeing more and more standardization, and more schools are creating, whether it's by looking at existing bodies that have programs. For example, the Green Seal that has their standardization for process, or the SIMS that has their training program, SIMS Green Building. These are not the only ones, but these are just an example of some that are out there that are really helping schools look at how can we document what we're doing and making sure we're sharing it and making sure that we are consistent. And if we add a building, or if we add new staff, or if we have staff turnover, we want to make sure that we're doing, as we said before, that training that we need, but also having that standardized processes in place so that we can pick things up and keep moving forward with our program, and that we can always have consistent quality in our green cleaning program. And this becomes really important, again, as our cleaning programs become more focused on process, procedure, and technology. This one, talking about communications, this is actually very close to my heart because I think it's really important that our custodial programs are more than just the people cleaning the floors. We think of them as the front line of health defense within our schools, and we want to make sure that we're integrating our cleaning programs and our cleaning staff into the school. And one of the ways to do that is by making sure that we have robust communications. So what we're seeing in a lot of the top programs is a lot of these top programs are building a team. They're looking at how do we reach out to parents, teachers, students, administration. How do we pull them together to help us do a better job of doing our cleaning? How do we get them? How do we get the school community to be involved in the work that we're doing, but also better understand what we're doing? we're looking at a lot of communications pieces, whether it's developing flyers, doing professional development sessions at teacher training days, having poster competitions within students, health fair participation. How about, if you have if your program is doing some really innovative work, set up a booth at your health fair. Talk about what you're doing. Do demonstrations of the different products that you're using, of the different technology that you're bringing in. It really becomes helpful for people to understand what we're doing. And of course, using technology to communicate, whether it's email or having web blogs or whatever it may be. It's really figuring out what handles you have, what opportunities you have to communicate within your school community and taking advantage of those. And we're seeing that more and more. Now, this is more of an emerging process, and I hope that we see this more. But what we began to see in the past 2 years is more and more evaluation. This is particularly emerging in the university side, and we're slowly seeing this trickle into the K-12 side, but really making sure that we can evaluate and quantify what are we doing in our cleaning programs that's going to lead us to be successful, and then furthermore help us communicate that success back to our leadership, our communities, our students. Whether it's doing surveys of occupants, actually doing an APA analysis so people understand that we have clear goals that we are working towards, looking at how much waste that we are coming in, coming out, looking at the what are we purchasing, what kind of chemicals are coming in, and are we doing what we can to drive the chemical purchases down, looking at health records and trying to make a connection of the health outcomes in our cleaning program. And of course, what we are also seeing is some schools are doing ATP testing and testing the actual efficacy of their programs. It's really interesting. Steve mentioned the ISSA's cleaning standard for K-12 programs. So this is a new program of actually trying that the ISSA took a very ambitious step and tried to standardize what does a clean school look like. And a lot of that is not about how do you do it, it's about how do you test it, how do you evaluate it. And as we are moving forward, and we want to make sure that we are properly investing in our programs and we are properly valuing our cleaning programs, evaluation is going to become more and more important. And then finally, sustainability. One of the things that we're seeing, it goes back to this whole integration question, and how do we integrate our green cleaning programs into the school community? And in part, we're seeing that done by making sure that we are integrating our green cleaning into our overall sustainability efforts into our schools. Whether it's having a broader perspective of our cleaning program and talking about our supply chain and integration of how are our purchasing decisions really impacting the supply chain that our school impacts. Or also, sitting down and participating in those broader greening our school conversations and not being an isolated box. But we're seeing schools that are actually taking initiative to be out there and be part of those conversations and part of those groups that are talking about sustainability with our schools. And in some schools, we are also seeing the green cleaning program being part of the school clubs. Let's talk to the schools. Let's talk to the students who are actually so passionate about making environment an issue within their schools, and talking about and having them understand what we're doing in the cleaning program and what the students can do to help this program to succeed can become really important and really powerful. So for us, some of what's next and what do we think we're going to keep seeing more of. We do think we're going to see more water technology. Prices keep dropping, and what does adoption look like? It's really interesting how, how does adoption look like for large schools versus small schools? It's not going to be for everyone, but it's clear that it's a very interesting trend to keep looking at. And it's not that it's without challenges, but without question, it does help us reduce a lot of our chemical exposures. Process. We're going to see. We believe we're going to continue to see more and more expansion of picking up of utilizing processes to have consistency within our cleaning programs. Again, we're not sure if this is going to be SIMS, LEED, OS1. There are a lot of programs out there, but we do know that making sure that we have proper documentation and how that impacts continued expansion of our green cleaning programs is really important. Finally, this evaluation piece. We all are going to have to justify the work that we do. We all will have to show the value of what we're doing. We know we're seeing more and more evaluation of our cleaning programs, and we would expect that to continue. All right. That's enough for me. I hope that I believe I'm going to hand this over to my colleague Alex Mays, who I believe a number of questions have been coming in. So let's just get started to the Q&A.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark, and thanks to Steve and Joe for their great presentation. So we've had a number of questions come in. Please feel free to keep sending them in through that questions box on your control panel. We will go ahead and get started. So the first question is for, I would say, Joe or Steve. So I'm a product manufacturer, and many of the past award winners have used my products. Is there anything I can do to get recognized for this?
Well, I guess I can jump in here. This is Joe. One of the ways is hopefully the school or university had come to you to get more information that they included in their presentation for the Green Cleaning Award because they saw you as a valuable partner. However, if they had not gotten in touch with you, it's not too difficult to remind them in a very subtle way. There are a lot of different ways, and actually there are some very public ways through the magazine. We offer something called a congratulatory letter if the supplier had helped or had supplied some of the direction or some of the product that was used in any of the winning school universities green cleaning programs. They can have a letter published by the sales manager or the CEO of the company congratulating them on their award program and for the fine work that they're doing and for thanking them for specifying and using your product. And if anybody needs more information on any of that, they can contact me. My information is available via the website. I give you all of that now, but it gets kind of long and convoluted. But if you go to the website, there's phone numbers and email addresses where they can get in touch with me to get more information on how they can get more recognition from the general public on what they're doing to help these winning schools.
Great, and Joe, we'll be sure to include your contact information in the email that goes out, so anybody that is interested in those opportunities can reach out to you.
Hey, Alex, before you go to the next question, this is Steve. Joe, you were very polite in how you answered that question, so allow me to be a little bit less polite. Another way to get recognized for the great work a manufacturer, product distributor, or service provider is doing is just take out an ad in the publication. So you can do a congratulatory letter, but it's okay, you know, take out an ad. You guys spend money doing that. This is a great publication. This is a time when people will be paying particular attention to cleaning. And let's face it, you know, this publication goes to the key decision makers in schools and universities who are thinking about a lot of things that are typically covered throughout the entire calendar year editorial calendar of Joe's publication. So we have one that's totally dedicated to cleaning where people are really paying attention and thinking about cleaning-related issues. So, you know, as I put my marketing hat on, I used to work for a number of cleaning product manufacturers. This is a great time when people are paying attention to take out that ad. So forgive me, Joe, for being blunt about it, but, you know, if we want to recognize the real movers and shakers and leaders in our product industry and our cleaning industry, this is a great way to do it.
Great. Thanks to both of you. Here is the next question. So we are currently in the process of creating a green cleaning program at UIC. We have been reviewing other college and university programs for reference and have noticed some include integrated pest management plans for indoors. Is this a requirement for recognition in the awards program? And do you see schools including integrated pest management programs in their applications? So Steve or Mark maybe could answer that one.
Sure, I'll be happy to start. I mean, the first question was, is it required? And the answer to the requirement is no, it's not required. And we have had winners that didn't include it. However, we do view integrated pest management as an important component of overall a green cleaning program, and it's an important component of your general operations. And in all of these applications, we're always looking for things that are differentiators. So in the past, we have had a number of winners who have included their integrated pest management and have promoted it quite proudly and quite strongly. In fact, there was one winner a number of years ago that, I'm forgetting the school. Alex, do you remember the school?
It was Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And they basically spoke of their integrated pest management program as helping launch their green cleaning program. It was a really interesting case study. It was a really interesting story, and it really did help give some differentiation to the program. So while not required, it does add texture, it adds color, and overall it's an important component of creating that healthy environment. So it adds a lot of value to your school, to your students, and also to the application.
And this is Steve, if I can also just share something. Many of the people that are on the calls from schools and universities, this will be the first time that you're applying for the award. And one of the things that we started doing a few years ago was to actually create a special awards category for people just getting started. So as Mark mentioned, it is not a requirement to do IPM. It's not a requirement, and we recognize that there are unique challenges getting started. So please do not, allow that to be a barrier to get started on green cleaning or to use the application, because at the end of the day, it really is used to help get your team together, to get them organized around sort of a simple process, to work with your suppliers and what have you, and then year after year to use this to benchmark your own progress. So again, it is not required, and we have a special category for those of you who are just getting started.
Great, thank you, Steve. That's a very important point to add. Next question is for Mark or Steve. How does end-of-life chemical management fit into cleaning programs, and is this something applicants discuss?
So this is Steve. Typically, cleaning chemicals are designed to be disposed of down a sanitary drain. And typically they're being tested, especially if they're being third-party certified by Green Seal and Ecologo or EPA's Design for the Environment program, where they're actually being tested to look at biodegradability and aquatic toxicity, which are typically the two ways that chemicals sort of can affect the environment after disposal. There's obviously other things, and one of the reasons that these new devices that turn water into an effective cleaning solution are becoming popular is because chemicals come packaged in plastic bottles, they come in cardboard shipping cartons, there's all these other things that go on with it. So it's not just the disposal of the chemicals itself after use, but also the disposal and hopefully the recycling of what have you of the bottles and the cardboard cartons. So there's other things when we look at it from a life cycle perspective that we are trying to think about. But anyway, to summarize, we are aware of the issues about, chemicals in the environment, and this is one of the reasons why we do encourage the third-party certifications. And generally, at least in the cleaning industry for janitorial products, these type of chemicals are much less problematic than some of the other chemicals that are used sort of in our society.
Great, thank you, Steve. The next question is for Joe. Joe, how do I subscribe to receive your magazine, and what is the current readership for it?
Oh, that's an easy question. Thank you for the easy questions. The easiest way to subscribe is to go on the website. Again, it's www.asu, that stands for American School University.com. And on there is a subscription form. Now, the thing is that you have to be of a particular title and job responsibility at a school or university to receive the publication for free. It's called a qualified subscription, and everyone who gets it is audited, and we're audited every year to ensure that that's the case. So our subscriber base is made up of primarily the key decision makers at schools and universities, superintendents of schools, the chief business official at the schools and universities, as well as the chief facilities, buildings and grounds, physical plant, whatever that maintenance and operations title is at the school or university. Those are the readers of the publication. Those are the ones that can go online if you don't currently get it to sign up. It's a pretty easy process, and then you'll get a call just to verify all the information. For those that are distributors or suppliers, there's no way to get the magazine for free. However, if you contact one of the salespeople at the magazine, they can probably get you on a complimentary list to get it, or you can always visit the website and view the digital edition. All the issues that are in print show up at the same time online so that you can peruse the issues online as well.
Great, thank you, Joe. And do you have an idea of how many people are currently subscribed to the magazine?
57,000.
Wow, that's wonderful. Great, thank you. So we are going to do two final questions. The first question is, I've applied before. Can I apply again? And if so, what should I include in my application?
This is Mark Bishop. I'll answer that. If you applied before, you absolutely can apply again. We encourage it. In terms of what you should include in your application, the one thing that we absolutely suggest for repeat applicants is to not just send in the exact same application. But more importantly, let's focus on what have you done in the past year since applying, so we actually understand what's the difference and what the new things are that you're bringing to the table. You know, one of the things that we really want to highlight are what are the innovations and what are the things that are what are the innovations and what's really driving these programs forward. And so that's what we really would encourage you to highlight. Now, beyond that, we hope that, as has been stated earlier, you take advantage of filling in the application for your own personal benefit, to be able to use it as a benchmarking tool and to continue to think through what am I doing, what am I improving on, what do I need to work on. And so as you check back against last year's application, you should take a look and think through, well, what have I done this past year, and make sure that you include it and make sure that you then reflect upon it to think about how you can continue to do continual improvement in your work. So.
Great, thank you. And the final question is, are there monetary awards given, and what other forms of recognition are given to the award winners?
I'll jump on that one. Regrettably, we do not have the budget for monetary awards. Having said that, we try to, first of all, everyone gets a plaque, recognition. This is we realize that janitorial, services, custodial services just don't get enough recognition, and right there is what we're trying to address. We want to work with all the winners to get them recognition within their school district, get them press within trade press, local press, get this great full-color spread in American School and University that goes to 57,000 people. That's unbelievable. It's a huge thing. So we think it's about validation and recognition and tooting the horns. Now, beyond that, what we have found is a lot of the winners have come back to us and said, you know what? After I won the ASNU award, what I have found is I'm being invited to meetings and I'm being invited to present here, and they're finding that they're getting a lot of recognition within their peers and within communities that they didn't even know existed. And it's really raised it's elevated the level of their work and how they fit within it. So it's really an exciting opportunity to raise the profile of your program and the work that you do within your program professionally. So Steve or Joe, would you want to add anything to that?
I guess the only thing I can think of is that commercial, I think it's from American Express, about the cost of something. Again, you're not getting a cash award, but the publicity and the value that you get amongst your peers, your superiors, fellow schools and universities, and once it's promoted to the community and to the parents and et cetera, it's priceless. So by all means, it is something that I would encourage everyone to enter.
Great.
And entry is free.
Great.
Great. Well, thank you everyone so much. I think we've gone a little bit over our time, so we appreciate you all spending this hour with us. We hope you'll be able to go back to your school, your programs, and download the application and get an application in for the September. We look forward to going through them and kind of reading and seeing about all the innovation that's going on. Thank you so much. And also, just make sure you mark down that we've got 2 more. Share these the following webinars with your friends. New Technology and Green Cleaning, August 19th. Green Cleaning and Infection Control, September 16th. And we hope to see you there. So thank you so much, and have a good rest of the afternoon.